I go outside to the smoke pit, not knowing what I'm gonna do, and who's standing right there smoking a cigar? Russell.
Yeah.
And I looked up and I'm like, okay, God, this is what you wanted me to do. You lined this up for me. Okay, cool. So I go right up to Russell and I'm like, hey, Russell, I'm Crystal. I'm from Brampton. And then he's like, yo, yeah, you killed it. I just saw, like, you're hilarious. I'm like, thank you. And then I'm like, listen, I should open up for you.
Real Talk with Star Scorpio, season 8. This is a pleasure for me because I have Crystal Ferrier on the show. Amazing comedian. She did 2 of my podcasts. I think it was season 1 and 2. She was on with my wife talking about cakes, but the first time she was talking about comedy. She was supposed to come on with Eric Escobar, comedian in the States, but she couldn't make it. But she made it today. Crystal, welcome to Real Talk with Star Scorpio. How you doing today?
Oh, I'm great. Thank you for having me back. I love this show. I love what you're doing. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. You're a big supporter too. I really
Yeah,
appreciate that.
man.
Mm. So
Of course.
we go way back, right? We go way back. As you know, I stopped comedy, but you kept trekking, and I appreciate what you're doing for the business, the comedy business, and the Canadian
Yes.
business side of comedy. But I think a lot of people know you, but just let people who haven't heard, if they listen to the podcast, how you started comedy again and when.
Okay. So I started about 15 years ago, long
Mm.
time. And I was in a relationship actually, and it wasn't that great towards the end. I mean, they're all not that great towards the end, I guess. And I was that person that I was dating was cousins with a comedian, a really good friend of mine, and she would encourage me. Her name is Keisha Brownie. She
Mhm.
would encourage me to do comedy. She's like, "You're so funny. You should try comedy." And I was like, no, I don't know. I did like the stage because I was doing some theater stuff, but by myself, I was a little nervous about it, you know. And then relationship ended, and I was in a new spot where I was like, you know what, where am I going to go from here?
Mm.
And I was like, you know what, screw it. Let me try it. And I did an open mic at a bar called CC's on Kennedy Road in Brampton, where I used to live.
Yeah.
Big up Brampton.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was history from there because I was surrounded by the right people, and I was literally telling somebody this the other day because we're talking about Kenny Robinson's show and how
Mm.
difficult it is to get on that show. And I think I did that show for my second time doing comedy
Oh,
because
oh my
yeah, somebody saw me there. Cedric Newman saw me there, and Cedric's
Yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, I'll vouch for you. You're really funny. We need females in this game." And he took me to Ajax Yuck Yuck, where
Mm.
Kenny was doing the Nubian show in the East End at that time.
Okay.
And because Kenny's like, "Oh, I'm not gonna throw you to the dogs," his
Yeah.
exact words, in
Yeah.
Toronto. I'll test you in the East End. So I went up at the Ajax Yuck Yucks. I did a really good set, and Kenny was like, "All right, next month you got Toronto." So I literally did random bar in Brampton, and then I
Mm.
did Yuck Yuck Ajax for my second, and then I did Nubian Toronto for my
Mm.
third. So it was wild.
That's amazing. And I
Yeah.
gotta tell you too, your story kind of seems like mine too. Because
Mm.
there's a difference with, I gotta say it. We used to call them the white rooms, the black rooms, and things like that, right?
Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Canada's multicultural, but you had your typical rooms where
Oh, for
everybody kind of
sure.
went, right? So when I started, um, I was doing yuck yucks. So
Yeah.
I made my jokes and I made my West Indian jokes and stuff, and I was doing all right. But Mr. Mo, who helped me out, he
Oh, I
got me.
love him.
Yes, big up Mr. Mo. He
Yeah.
got me on my first Kenny show, but a lot of people thought I would bomb because
Yeah.
that's a staple,
That's
right?
hard. Yeah. It's a
Mhm.
hard show.
But as you know, I hit it up. You weren't in it at the time, but I hit it off.
Yeah.
But I was nervous, but the crowd was
Of
welcoming. I hit them
course.
with the jokes, but it's a good opportunity for anyone, the Kenny Robinson show, and it's still going on, right?
Yes. Of
Mhm.
course. Like 25 years now.
Woo! Oh my God.
Yeah.
You know what's
Yeah.
crazy? I remember when they did the 10th anniversary. So that's how long I've
Yes.
been
So
out
do
of it.
I. So do
Wow,
I. I
that's
remember
crazy.
that. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
wild.
So now fast forward, you're doing all these shows. You were doing the
Yeah.
Kevin Hart, LOL. The last time we talked, you did the Kevin Hart. You
Yes.
went to Montreal. You
Yeah.
met so many people, right?
Yes, for
But
sure.
one of the biggest things that you did in the past year, we could say, I think it wasn't
Yeah.
this year, it was last year. You opened
Last
for
year.
Russell Peters, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so
I
how did
did.
that lead up? How did it lead up to that, and how did you get that opportunity? Because I know you know
Okay.
Russell, everything's good, Russell, but let me know how that happened.
Yeah, so I hadn't really met Russell face to face.
Mm,
Um, and I got the opportunity to do roast battle. This was season 2. And I was really excited because yes, it's roast battle, but whatever I do, P, I always have a set of goals
okay.
for whatever I do. And sometimes it's not necessarily that actual thing that's the goal. Like, of course, roast battle is the goal.
Mm,
And I was there, I did it, I killed it. But doing that, I had other goals too. So the main one was like, okay, I'm finally gonna meet Russell face
mm,
to face. So in my head, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have a conversation with him. He's gonna, like we're gonna be cool, and that's it. So let's see what happens.
yeah.
So I do my recording, which is like it's different from live, right? It's TV recording, so there's audience planted, so people know what they're gonna do. We're scripted, we know what we're gonna say for the most part, and
Mhm.
then the judges are up there, right? So I do my thing and I killed it. I went up against Big Norm, big up Big Norm. He's one of
Yeah.
my favorite comedians as well, and after that, this was COVID time, so they sent us back to the green room. We couldn't really travel and go around everywhere. So I'm like, how am I gonna talk to this guy? I thought I could just talk to him.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
hey, but like literally the judges were far from us. And it would have been awkward for me to go that way because they
Mm,
just kind of take you and go because of COVID, right?
yeah.
So I was like, what am I gonna do? I can't go creeping around for this man's dressing room. I'm gonna look like a groupie.
Yeah.
Okay, what am I gonna do? And then I see everybody leaving because they're going to smoke.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, okay, I don't smoke. But I
Yeah.
was like, yo, let me try a thing. So I talked to the AD and I'm like, can I go for a smoke? And listen, I was hoping like, please God, don't be like, she's a cool chick too. I was hoping she'd be like, she wouldn't say, oh, let me go with you, or can I bum a smoke off you? Because I'd be lost, okay?
Yeah.
And she goes, yeah, yeah, go ahead, go ahead. So I'm like, all right, here we go. Let me go and try to see what I can do with this opportunity.
Mm.
So I go outside to the smoke pit, not knowing what I'm gonna do, and who's standing right there smoking a cigar? Russell.
Yeah.
And I looked up and I'm like, okay, God, this is what you wanted me to do. You lined this up for me. Okay, cool. So I go right up to Russell and I'm like, hey, Russell, I'm Crystal. I'm from Brampton. And then he's like, yo, yeah, you killed it. I just saw, like, you're hilarious. I'm like, thank you. And then I'm like, listen, I should open up for you. And he's like,
Yeah.
what? I'm like, a lot of people say I'm a female Russell Peters. Like, I don't really see you like opening, like putting females on, opening for you. And like, I think I would be really good for you.
Mhm.
And he's like, okay. And I go, listen, I don't need no big money. Like, I will pay to get out wherever you are. I will pay for my own like hotel. Like, I don't even care about getting paid. I just want to open for you. And
Wow.
he's like, you know what? Actually, you don't have to do all that because I am going to be at Casino Rama at the end of the year,
Mm.
and you can open for me there. I was like,
Wow.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So like, kudos to Russell because like he really had no idea who I am,
Wait,
and he
I
didn't.
wait. I gotta stop you there for a minute because
Yeah,
when I started comedy, it was different. We're talking
of
about
course.
2000, 2001, 2002.
Yeah,
I was doing the circuit. I was doing Kenny's show. When I first
yeah,
performed with Russell, he knew who I was through the
right,
scene, right? So I'm
right.
sure he knew who you were too, because
So
it's a
he
small
he had an
circle.
idea, but
Mhm.
when I started, Russell was gone to
Right,
fame already.
right,
So
right.
like it's not like we worked on the same show. He
Okay.
had an idea because he's friends with John Paul and I've done a lot of work with John Paul. But he never really saw my set,
Mm.
right? He saw me at roast battle, but that's totally different, right?
Okay.
But I did talk to him after. I was like, you know what? Thank you for giving me a chance. You never really knew who I was. And
Mm.
at that point, he did mention he's like, okay, but after that, I asked around about you,
Yeah.
right? So okay, fair, fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
but I was grateful that he said yes. And then, of course, like the pandemic hit, and
Mm.
like I was like, oh God. So it got pushed over. Like, so Casino Rama's programming, they literally like paused it and then restarted it when things opened up. So I
Okay.
had to wait like a year and a half to 2 years
Mm.
to actually do that show. So I was like, oh my God, like it was just a verbal thing. Like, I don't have a contract. Like, is it really happening? And people would be like, oh my God, you're opening for Russell soon, right? I'm like, I
Yeah.
think so. Like, I felt
Yeah.
like I don't want to bug him, because he was like,
Mm.
yo, take my number. But like, he's Russell. Like, I don't want to bother the man.
Yeah.
So I just kind of left it. And literally like 2 weeks before the date, his brother reached out to me. And I was like, damn, like, there's some good people,
Oh yeah.
because like they didn't have to reach back out to me. They
Yeah.
reached out to me, they treated me so well. I did get paid. I got a hotel there, and like I was literally treated like a star. And the experience of that show was so wild, P. Like,
Wow.
first of all, it was 11,000 people all together.
Ooh.
Yeah, two shows. And it was like, okay, so the first night, I was a bit nervous because like I've never been in such a big crowd.
Mhm.
And it's a cold open. So they go like, give it up for Russell's opener, Crystal
Well,
Ferrier.
what do you mean? There was no warm up
No, it's a
comedian,
cold
nothing?
open. No, it's a
Really?
cold open. I'm the warm up.
Holy.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
but you know what? Like I did really well,
Mhm.
and it made me really comfortable,
Okay.
right? And then
Yeah.
that second night, I was like, nah, like they gotta know who I am. Like I
Yeah.
walked on their different. You can see from the tapes. Like I have two tapes. Like yes, the first it was very corporate, very nervous, but I got through it and I did well. But
Mhm.
like the second, like the way I walked on, it was a different Crystal,
Yeah.
and that one it was cool because like I had a lot of family in the audience, and like that one I felt really, really comfortable.
Mm.
So it was really good. And then he even like I got him on video because I'm like, yo, can you do a video for me telling people like how I did or whatever, just for me to have for like a demo reel? And he's like, of course. So she's like, the first night she went on a cold open and she still killed it. And then the second night she was so comfortable, she massacred the place. Like, it was so nice to hear him like, put his stamp on that,
Mm.
because I felt like all that hard work and then waiting for like the 2 years almost to finally get it.
Yeah.
P, like our goals sometimes take so many years and people don't realize. People are just like, oh, you opened for Russell. Like, how'd you get that? And it's like, yo, that's like years in the making.
Yeah.
It's not like it's like not like a 5-minute thing. People don't know how much work gets put into that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But and you know what was wild about that too is in Casino Rama. And
Mm.
so like usually people go to the show and then they go to the casino or they hang out, they go have dinner. I didn't really think anything of it.
Mm.
And then after the show, I just walked out into the lobby and I got swarmed.
Holy.
Like people were like, "Oh, are you the girl that opened for him?" And they wanted to take pictures. And I'm like, "Are you?" Like I felt like crazy. It was such a crazy feeling. And
Mm.
then I went to the bathroom. I was
Yeah.
walking into the stall. This lady was coming out, and she's like, "Oh my God, can I get a picture with you?" Like before or after I take this nervous deuce. Like, what do you? Oh my
Oh
God, I was
wow.
so like, it was wild. And she goes, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry, no, after." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll meet you outside.
Yeah.
But then I went into the casino and people were swarming me in the casino. And I'm like, okay, like, this is a big deal.
Mm.
This is a big deal.
That.
But I'm so forever grateful to his team, man. They treated me so well.
Mm.
And it was literally a lifetime experience. And he's such a good guy, man. Like, people don't really like realize they're like, oh, he's cocky or he's gotten too much money now. And, like, no, like he's very generous. He's very kind to the people that are around him. And, like I really appreciated the treatment from his whole team.
Mm. Yeah, shout out Russell, man. Like,
Yeah.
I think I always knew he was a good dude, and he has a good memory too.
Yes.
Yeah, and that was one of my goals, but I fell short. So I'm really proud that you put in
Aw.
that work and you got to that
Yep.
level, man. It's like I'm living through, you know what? I'm living through
Aw.
all the comedians that I performed with, not
Yeah.
necessarily started with, because JP and Ron Jossel, they started before me,
Yes.
but I was
Yes.
working with them. But I'm
Right.
living through them. I'm seeing
Of
you on
course.
Roast Battle Canada, Russell Peter.
Yes.
I'm seeing John Paul on CP24.
Yes.
I'm
Killing
seeing
it.
I'm seeing Cedric on Amazing Race. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's nice. It's nice.
Yeah.
But
The team's winning.
yes.
If one person on the team is winning, we're
Mhm.
all winning. It's just nice to see like so many of us winning. Like it's nice.
Yeah.
Finally,
Yes.
finally.
Yes. You know
Yeah.
what, too? It's the exposure. It's with social
Hmm.
media, I don't know if this would have happened. Like,
Right.
it's the reach now. We have it now.
Yeah.
So people
It's
get to see.
wild.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Yeah.
so going back to the show, how long was your set though?
15 minutes each night.
15 minutes. And you can,
Yeah.
that's easy for you now, right? You have a
Yeah, 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 yeah,
45.
yeah.
You have a 45 an
Yeah,
hour.
I could do like an hour and a bit if there's no restrictions, and
Mhm.
then like definitely an hour clean, but if I could do like, a mix of like Caribbean stuff. I've learned to like do my Caribbean stuff in white rooms too.
Yeah.
Like I could always do my Indian stuff, but like
Mhm.
my Caribbean stuff, I used to like, okay, I can't do these jokes, but now I can,
Mhm.
so yeah.
Yeah. So you have a bucket list like me then, right? Mine's not
Yeah.
necessarily all comedy. It's a bunch of things, right? But you have that
Yeah.
check, and this was a big check mark for you too.
Definitely,
Mhm.
definitely. I started approaching my goals differently from the pandemic, to be honest, because like I used to have a bucket list, like I want to do this, I want to do this. Now I have like, it's in my phone, of course, because this is all we're doing is phone stuff,
Yeah.
but it's in my notes and I have like the year. And before I used to write all the things that I accomplished
Mhm.
just to celebrate at the end of the year. But now I write it like I already accomplished it.
Oh
And
wow.
then it's nice to see like, oh my God, like the audacity, Crystal. You thought you could do it, and
Yeah,
then I
yeah,
actually do it. That's a
yeah.
good feeling. So like definitely Russell was one of those, Rose Battle was one of those too. And it's like, yeah, it's cool. It's just a different way. Cause I thought in the pandemic that I was gonna lose comedy.
Yeah.
And that really made me, first of all, depressed, but also like I gotta do this differently. Like I can't do the same thing that I did before the
Mhm.
pandemic,
You know what? It
So
was a good thing in a lot of ways. I'm telling you, like,
yeah,
pandemic hit hard for a lot of different reasons, maybe financially
yeah,
and of course medically, some people.
of course.
But it got you rethinking. That's how I started the podcast. Like,
Yeah,
I don't think I would have
yeah,
started this if the pandemic didn't hit.
no,
That's how I started it. But you know
yeah,
what? When you're talking about that too, when I had Patrick Hay on my podcast, he was talking about
yeah,
he was really depressed when
yep,
2020, because you couldn't go out to do shows. And
no,
we discussed that in our last podcast, how you had the online with JP and everybody,
yep,
Cedric, Keisha. But
yeah,
yeah, now you're at a different level. So let's go back to Roast Battle Canada though, because you
yeah,
did it again. So when you invited me to watch the live, I brought my friend Cher. You know Cher now.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
She
yeah,
actually
yeah.
seen you, saw her somewhere at a
Yeah, I see her
boat show.
randomly. Like it's crazy. Yeah, I saw her at a boat cruise or something,
Yeah,
I
boat
think.
cruise. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But when we went, man, I was so impressed with you, but I didn't know what the follow-up was. Like, I seen the
Yeah,
competition, and was there, okay, you won, and then is there
yeah.
something else happening? But tell me about Roast Battle Canada though, how you got it in the first place.
Okay, so how I got on the first time I did it. Okay,
Yeah.
so the first time I did it was also the audacity. Here we go. So listen to this.
Yeah.
So Keith Pedro gave me a call and he's another great
Yeah.
comedian. He was like, yo, Chris, like I'm in this show called Roast Battle and I'm battling your boy John Paul and I need some ammo, like and I was like, oh, first of all, that's my boy. But I'm like, oh, okay. I'll give you a little something, something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then, I helped him a little bit here and there, but then I'm like, why am I writing for somebody else, like,
Mhm.
or giving ideas to someone? I'm like, I should be doing this. Like, I'm an asshole. Like, I am roast battle. I roast my husband. Like, nobody's safe. Do you know what I'm saying? So
Nobody's
I'm like,
safe.
I roast my kids. Like
Yeah.
nobody's safe. So I'm like, why? How come I'm not on this show? And at that time, I knew who the booker was,
Mm.
and I was like, you know what? Like, why don't I just send a message to the booker? Like, what's stopping me? Ego, pride, like shame, who cares? Just
Mm.
ask. It can
Yeah.
either be a no or a yes, right?
Mm.
And it's funny, like I have this quote, sorry, that Crystal, remember that everything you actually got was a no at first, right? Because literally everything that I've done, it felt like such a struggle to get it. And people don't know the amount of no's and rejection that we deal with to actually get these big goals that are popping, that people only see those goals. They don't see everything else, right? So I was like, whatever, I've dealt with no's. Let me just ask. So I sent an email out and I'm like, hey, I've done Trix's rose, Kenny's birthday rose, you could, like, these people can vouch for me. And I got a no.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, wow.
So I got an email back and she said, actually, Crystal, we're already in the middle of recording soon, and I'll keep you in mind for the future. And I've heard I'll keep you in mind for the future over and over, and you know what that really means, right?
Yeah.
I was like, all right, cool. I asked, I got a no, that's fine. So literally like 2 days later, I get a phone call from this person, and I'm like, oh, what's this about? Hey, somebody dropped out because of COVID. It's really last minute.
Yeah.
You only have 7 days to write your joke. Is that enough? And I'm like, yo, I need 2 hours and I'll get it done. Like,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I don't need 7 days. So she's like, okay, cool. So I was like, okay, I always say, like, I don't need my whole foot in the door. I just need my little pinky toe in the door. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, like, I know my talent. I know my personality. I know that people love me when I'm around, but they got to let the little pinky toe in a little bit,
Right.
to get in the building. So I was like, okay, like I showed and proved, like I killed it in the short time that I had, and I did so well on my roles, and they invited me back again. So that's what you've just seen, season 3.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So with season 3, it was really interesting because what happens is they have a list of roasters, so you see who's on the cast, and then you can kind of make a suggestion if you'd like. So I didn't really know what I was gonna do before I even thought about it. Tyler Morrison reached out to me, and if you don't know Tyler Morrison, first of all, like, where have you been? But like, he is the roast king. Okay.
Yeah.
He is the roast king. Like, he's written roast. Like, he wrote for K-Trev, which is a judge. K-Trev's roast for the American roast, which K-Trev won. And the American roasts are different because they go like head to head, and then whoever wins goes to the next battle. Whoever wins that goes to the next battle.
Yeah.
Whereas Canada, it's like you have one battle and you're done.
Yeah.
But with the American, there's only one winner. And K-Trev, who was a Canadian, won that. And honestly, he's a great comedian, but without the help of Tyler, like, Tyler's help was really crucial in his win, Yeah. So Tyler Morrison, king of roast battle, sends me a message on Facebook and goes, man, I looked at the list, and yeah, people are cool and all, but like, I don't think anyone can give me like a bang for my buck like you can. And I'm like, oh my God, like, I'm gonna shit the bed. Because like, he's a killer, he's a killer. And at first I was kind of nervous. I was like, nah, like, I don't want to go up against that. Like, like, that's like suicide. And then I'm like, you know what? That's a challenge. Like, the very fact that he requested me, it says something.
Of course.
So I'm like, if I go out drowning, like, it's still against him,
Yeah.
So I was like, cool. So we worked together. I remember, like I said, so Russell was a goal for that season 2. Season 3, I'm like, okay, what are my goals? And I wanted to get the premiere episode. So I noticed, like, the season 1 and season 2, the premiere episodes were nominated for a Canadian Screen Award.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, so that is the goal. You want the premiere because that gets nominated. And I don't need to win. I just need the nom. It's a pinky toe again, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I need the nomination. Let's work on it together. Let's really give them a show, and let's see if we can get premiere.
Okay.
My other goal was I wanted to do some writing on the show. So lo and behold, Tyler and I work on it. And you know what? Like, I don't know if you've seen the battle. Like, I lost the battle, but damn, like, it was a mad, crazy battle.
Yeah.
So like, we were head to head, and even everyone in that place was like so rowdy. It literally felt like a jail fight. Like, we're just, and the editing is very different. So they edited a lot of the little jabs and punches.
Yeah.
That we threw at each other that made it really, really funny and just flowed better.
Mm.
But I thought it was a great battle. And like we hugged each other and he was like, yo, you got it. And I'm like, nah, you got it. Like we didn't even know who did, you know? And then yeah, he killed it. I'm really proud of him. And he, we both got the goal. We got premiere episode.
Oh,
He called me
sweet.
up. He's
Yeah.
like, yo, Chris, we got premiere. And I'm like, that's it. Like the goal was there on my list, you know. And so hopefully when maybe I speak to you next, I can be like, hey P, we got the CSA nom, because
Yes.
that's the goal. That's the goal. And before, you know what, like especially like Indian and Caribbean people, like we don't talk enough about the
Yeah.
things we want to accomplish because we want to keep everything secret.
Mm.
Right? We're like, and a part of it, it's like, okay, you don't want people to bad mind you
Right.
and like, evil eye or whatever it may be. But then also it's the embarrassment, like if I don't get it and I'm here talking about it, like I got
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
but I'm like, fuck that, man. Like, who cares? In my head, I did get it,
Mm.
like let me put that energy out into the universe because it's been working for me so far.
This is what
So
I'm saying. I
yeah,
wholeheartedly believe in that, man. Because
yeah,
I don't know what age it was. It was just before COVID where I stopped caring
yeah,
about things.
yeah,
I wish I had that attitude when I was doing stand up, but I stopped
yeah.
caring and I'm just doing things because I know you just have this one life to live. And it's
That's
like
it.
you have nothing to be afraid of in life.
Yeah,
And you got to make those heavy goals. And I like how you're
yeah.
doing that. Yeah. And then they come, opportunities will keep
They
coming,
come.
coming your
They
way.
come. They
Yeah.
come. And even with the writing, so I talked to my manager and I was like, hey, like, did you hear anything about writing? And she was like, no, actually, you know what? Like, they have a budget and they're going to stick to their team. And, I don't think that's going to happen. And I'm like, cool, no problem. So I'm like, all right, well, you know what? I got the CSA. I did get that. And then a week after that, the one of the head writers reached out to me and he's like, hey, we're having like a trial thing and we'd like you to, get on for a week. And are you cool with that? And I'm like, hell yeah, that's a pinky toe, P. That's a pinky toe right there. So I'm like, yeah, let me get my pinky toe up in there.
Yeah.
So because I know my talent. I believe in myself. And you know what? It's not even audacity at that point. It's literally hard work. I've been doing this for
Oh,
15 years.
yeah.
So it's like, yeah, it's the hard work, the audacity, the belief in my talent, all of that, and the universe, that helps.
Do you think I know as comedians in any industry, you're always learning, right? But I gotta
Yeah.
ask you again. I felt like I asked you this before. I don't know. I'm not sure. But do you feel like you've mastered your craft yet?
You know what? Like, I may feel like I've mastered it at certain times, but then I always learn something new,
Mm, yeah.
right? Like, what I have learned is to believe in myself. I've mastered that,
Okay.
right? Like, I've mastered that. I know there's nothing I can't do when it comes to stand up.
Mhm.
Like I've done all white rooms. I've done old white people, young white people. I've done shows in places that have never heard me or seen me before and I've killed it. Like when I went to St. Martin, I was so scared because I'm like, this is like a Caribbean crowd that I'm used to, but they're also like, older and their comedy is a little bit different,
Yeah.
right? Like they have like very character based comedy and of course like before me there were like some characters that came out like as a dressed as a granny and
Yeah.
like all these things and I'm there just with a mic,
Yeah.
and I remember like even there my opening joke I always tell myself like if you can get the people to relate to you
Mhm.
in that first few minutes then you can really say whatever you want
Yeah.
after,
It's so true. It's
you
so
know
true.
And I remember I did a bunch of radio interviews there, and people were always asking me, like, are you related to this guy named Michael Ferrier?
Oh.
And I was like, no, I don't think so. Like, who's every radio like asking me about this guy? And I'm like, okay, who's this guy? Like, he must be important.
Mhm.
And then they were like, he's the island's minister of finances. So he's like a really popular guy. And I end up meeting him. He ended up coming to the show. So
What?
my opening joke was like, hey guys, like I'm not related to Michael Ferrier,
Mhm.
for the most part. I wasn't sure, but then I found out who he is, and I need a little ministering of my finances.
Yeah.
So I have set up a DNA test in the back after the show So I'll see you back there, Dad. I'll see you
Oh
back there.
my! Yeah. I
Yo, I
felt
got an
that
applause
coming.
break. Yo, I got an applause break off the top, and then it's like I had them in my hand, and I could just do my set, and just they were like eating it all up, you know. So yeah, I think that's important. A lot of people don't realize that. Yeah, you do have to change stuff
Yeah.
when you're in a new place. Like you can't stick to your same routine that maybe works for you in Toronto at the Nubian show,
Mm,
and you're gonna go to Newfoundland at a bar and
mm.
do that same set. Like it's not gonna happen. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. Yo,
Yeah.
I'm still, I love that joke still.
Yeah.
The first thing is, when did I gotta remember what I'm gonna ask. First thing is, when was the roast battle on? The second one, because I felt like I was in Florida at the time.
With Norm or the third season.
This
This
Thursday, the
season?
one you promoted,
Okay,
July,
so
right?
I had yes, the roast with Tyler was in July. I think it was. I don't remember the exact date, but it's the first episode. And you know what? Like I just realized that CTV, the app has all the
Yes.
episodes for free.
Yep.
You don't even have like last year. I think you had to have a subscription, but
Mhm.
this year they've opened it up for free, so you can go in and you can see the first episode. That's me and Tyler, and then my second episode actually I got two this year. It released just the Monday that I was in Jamaica, the 31st.
Mm. Yeah, you
So you
just
can
came
watch
back, wait.
both episodes. Yeah, I
Yeah.
just came back from Jamaica
Back.
like I don't know 3 days ago or something like that.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So for the people, you could watch both episodes. And yeah, the
Yes.
CTV app, that's what I've been going to too as well.
Yep.
Um, so that's what I want to ask you first. I don't think I was here at the time. I think I was in Florida.
Could
So I have
be.
to watch that. The next thing is that joke you just told. You know that feeling when a joke
Yeah.
hits you right there and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
this is it, and you know it's gonna work,
Yeah.
and you open with it or you use it. That's the best feeling too when you come up with a
It's the
joke.
best feeling. It's the best feeling. You know what's scary about that is like I couldn't test that joke anywhere. I
Yeah.
only had that one show, and I'd like to test the joke. But then, I was with the other comedians that were working at that time on the same show, and I told them about it.
Mm,
And when you know it's funny, you know it's funny at like some point in your career, you just know what's funny.
right.
And so I knew it'd be great. I didn't know I was gonna get a full ass applause break from
Mm,
the gazillion of people that were there. First of all, the island's so small. I swear the whole island was there for the show.
yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, where did all these people come from? But yeah, they showed so much love, and that felt good too. Where I was like, all right, I never practiced this, and they loved it. So, and he
Mm,
was in the audience at the time,
yeah.
so that was even funny.
Yeah, man,
But
it's amazing. It's amazing making
yeah,
people laugh around the world, making connections. It's a beautiful thing, you know what I
yes,
mean? Mm.
yes,
And
exactly.
one more thing I was gonna say though,
Mhm.
I don't know if it was because this is to go with the different comedy rooms, different crowds. I don't know if it
Yeah,
was JP who taught me this or Mr.
yeah,
Mo, but one of them said to me, "Funny is funny." Because I
yeah,
used to be scared of doing like certain rooms out of town and stuff, and I was
yeah,
like, I always remembered that if you can make
yeah.
a joke relate to anyone, funny is
Yes.
funny. People will laugh, right?
Exactly,
Mm.
exactly. And JP's such a king of that. Like he thrives in whatever room you put him in. And he's himself. Like he does
Yeah,
his island hipster shit. Like
yeah,
he's always on that tip and people love it.
mm.
So
Yeah. Okay, Crystal, we come to the point in the interview when I had you
okay,
on both other times. I didn't get to ask you this question that I came up with
okay,
like
okay.
3 seasons ago, right? It's a would you
Let's
rather
hear it.
question.
Okay.
So let me know. Would you rather visit your younger self and give them
Oh,
advice for the future? Or would you rather visit your older self and
oh,
have them give you advice for what's going on right now?
oh, that's hard. Okay, I would visit my younger self.
Mm,
I would visit my younger self because I was very insecure as a younger person. And, just to give that reassurance to my younger self that, trust in God and trust in the universe that you will be brought to exactly where you belong. And the reason why I wouldn't talk to my older self to bring my older self back is like, I like where I'm at right now. I like that I'm figuring out stuff and I like that I'm trusting the process. So
mm,
whether I fall on my face or whether, I rise up high, like it's my process. And the beauty of that process is what's gonna make everything worthwhile.
Mm. Sweet, sweet. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. Now,
Yeah.
whether my guest chose their younger self or older self, there's four following questions to that. And this is
Okay.
about your younger self.
Okay.
What would you tell your younger self about money?
Ooh, yeah, my younger self. Oh God, I'd be like, girl, do not spend all that OSAP money. You need to pay it back. You need to pay it back. Working at Food Basics ain't gonna cut it, girl. You need to pay it back. Yeah, no, like I would tell my younger self the importance of credit and making sure you're still dying. Yo, we spent that OSAP. Why did they give me so much money, bro? Why did they give me so much money? When they give me $20,000 a year, yo, my tuition is $8,000. Eh? Why? Who's spending $12,000 on everything else? Like, what is happening?
Oh, wow.
But definitely, like,
Yeah.
young person, young me, debt is not a joke. Like, you will not be able to get a house. You will not be able to get a car. Girl, stop. Like, fix your credit. You know, if I knew that, I would have learned that lesson. I would have got the things that I have now much earlier,
Yeah.
you know, in life. So definitely
Yeah.
watch
But
your
of
credit,
course,
girl.
but you like the way things happen. Like
Of
everything's happened
course,
for
of
a reason.
course.
Right?
Yeah, everything happened for a reason.
Mm.
And, you know, yeah. I would tell my, but it allowed me to, you know, give my kids the knowledge of finances because my parents never gave it to me.
Yeah.
You know, my husband is really knowledgeable in finances because he learned the hard way too. And then he tried to teach me in the beginning. You know, I'm a little bit of a hard head, and
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, who are you talking to? Like, you know, but like, but he was just trying to teach me and guide me. And now I see that, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Mm.
it's good that I have that to teach my children and to leave them something, man. Because our parents, like, I don't know about your parents. My parents, you just came here with $1 and a dream, you
Yeah.
know. So it's like it was hard for them to leave me money for school, you know, help me with a down payment on a wedding or a house or anything. Like, no, like in my culture, like we usually take care of our parents. So
Yeah.
it's like it's not like they come prepped. And I don't want that for my kids. Like I
Yeah.
don't want my kids to take care of me because they have enough to deal with, especially in society today.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to burden my kids. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that I learned that lesson now.
Mm. Nice. Okay. What would you tell your younger self about family?
Um, that family is not always blood related. You know, that family is whoever is there for you when nobody is.
Wow.
That's what I would say. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
heard that
And
from my mother.
I would also say, you know, remember who's there for you when nobody is. Like those are your real people,
Yeah.
you
I,
know?
I've heard a few people say that on this
Yeah.
podcast. Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you tell your younger self about friends?
That they come and go. And, you know, it's not the end of the world when a friendship ends because sometimes you grow and that person doesn't grow with you, you know, and friends, I'm old now, huh? I'm on that no new friends,
Yeah.
but I'm also stush. I'm very stush, you know, I know that.
Yeah.
So, but it's funny, you make friends in the weirdest places or in the weirdest ways. Like even the roast battle family, like Tyler is like literally like he's a 40-year-old dude, white dude from Bracebridge who likes his beer. You know, he has a wife and kids, a family man, and I'm like, I feel like we're friends. You know, like I would have never been friends with him if it wasn't for comedy and roast battles. So yeah, except the friends that are going to come in weird ways.
Yes. Well said.
Yeah.
Lastly, what would you tell your younger self about love?
Oh man, like girl, the fairy tale ain't it. The fairy tale ain't it. Like love is not like butterflies. And you know what I used to say? I used to say in my younger relationships, and if we get into argument or whatever, I used to be like, if you love me, then you'd know. Like
Yeah,
how
yeah,
to treat me.
yeah, yeah.
You'd know how to treat me. If you really love me, you'd know how to treat me.
Mm,
And then I hit like 30 something. I had a bag of, not a bag, maybe a couple of relationships that didn't work out. And then I was like, nah, like this is how I want to be treated. Like I
mm,
would tell the person, this is what I need. And if you
yeah.
can't do that, then you can't do that. You can go. But like this is exactly what I need. Like it's not a mystery. It's not a, if you love me, that kind of thing. And like love you find within yourself first.
Mm,
Like if you're not happy within yourself, like nobody's gonna come and make you happy.
mm.
Like you gotta be happy on your own first.
So true. All
Yeah.
right. You got through those questions. Now,
Yes.
before we go, I want to know what's going on now because you do a lot of things, right? So I just want to know, are you still doing the cake business? Is your oldest daughter, I believe, she was the funny one. Is she still funny?
Oh yeah. Oh,
And
she's
then
hilarious.
all the projects that you got going on right now. What's going on?
Yeah, so I'm not baking because I don't have the time, and that's a blessing. And I'm so grateful to
Yeah.
all the people that still reach out to me and they're like, "Please, can you make me a cake? Please." And I'm like, "I'm so sorry." Like, because you know what? Like I said before on the baking episode with your wifey, like I don't like to just bake a week in advance. Like if if I'm baking for you, it's a fresh cake. Like I need you to taste that love in the cake, and
Mhm.
I just don't have it in me right now, just because I don't have the time.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't have the time. With my daughter, yeah, she's mad funny.
Yeah.
She's mad funny. And even the little one is getting really funny too.
Yeah.
Like, I'll give you an example. I just came from Jamaica and I was with one of my really good friends, Sienna, and she's like a little round, tiny thing. Like in
Yeah.
Jamaica, she is the queen in Jamaica,
Yeah.
okay? Because like, you know how they come, yo, Fluffy, Fluffy, come here,
Yeah, yeah.
so I'm with my little one, and every day we're going around the resort like manner trying to talk to my friend. And then the third night, a guy stopped her, and my little one goes, "Oh, another boyfriend, auntie? Oh, like
Oh my God.
kind, like so funny." But man, like they make these comments that I'm just like, oh God, they're mean. They're so mean.
Wait, so you both
Um,
were dying, right? She was dying at that.
Yo, we were dying. Even the dude was dying. He was like, "What?" Like, yo, it was so funny. It was so funny. We were dying. But yeah, man, these kids like bring a lot of laughter to my life.
Mm,
So yeah, yeah,
nice.
good, good, good.
And now the projects, what do you got going
Yeah.
on now?
So I do have a second book that I wrote that I'm waiting to get illustrated. I did my kids' book
Yeah.
in the pandemic, so I wanted to do another one. And I used to work as a behavior therapist, and
Mm,
I worked with children on the autism spectrum for like
yeah.
10 years. So I wanted to kind of write a book to it would be like my ode to the kids that I worked with.
Mm,
So that's in the making. Hopefully that will be out soon. And yeah, like I'm doing a lot of shows. I'm doing some traveling. I'm trying to get out to LA. I'm trying to go back to New York.
mm.
And there's a lot of stuff happening with the roast battle family that I can't
Okay.
discuss.
Yeah, yeah,
But
okay.
you know what I mean?
Yes, 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 yes.
Yes. So a lot of recording. I'm doing, I'm doing a lot of acting. I'm doing a lot of writing. And yeah, like check me out on my Instagram at Crystal the Comedian, and you can see where I'm at next.
Sweet, sweet. So before we go, thanks for sharing all
Yeah,
this. We got to we got to catch up after
yeah.
over a year. But you're gonna answer the real talk question. I'm gonna see
Okay,
if it changed because you said something. I can't remember.
okay, okay.
We'll
All
see what
right.
it is.
Let's see.
But then we have to do the donation to the balloon pop.
Yeah,
But let's see. Do you want me to read out the Raptors or the Blue Jays?
man, the Raptors.
Hmm. I wonder if this is what you had. What is one of the most memorable moments of your life?
Yeah, I think I might have had that.
Hmm.
I feel like I have that. Yeah, the most memorable moments of my life.
Because we probably you probably said your kids, right? But
Yes,
let's make this one
yes.
about comedy then. One
Okay,
of the
let's
most
make it about comedy.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna say Russell,
Mm,
opening for Russell. And I think like I said, it didn't really hit me until I got outside and walked out like a normal person, thinking nothing of it. And I got swarmed. Even my husband was like, yo, like he turned into security, like his chest went out, he's like, yo, and then he was like, he kind of got like a little group of people, like a lineup, and he's like, okay, you can go take a picture.
Oh my. Yeah, yeah.
Like, yo, it was mad. It was mad. And, people wanted my information and things like that. I think having that moment, but also then having the idea that I still have my privacy right now.
Yeah.
And then immediately thinking like, oh my God, like if I keep going like this could all be gone, because
Yeah.
Russell had to go the back way where nobody could see him and,
Wow.
get his way to his room. Like otherwise, like it's too much.
Yeah.
But that definitely was life changing because I was like, yo, am I ready for this?
Yeah.
Is this the goal? And yeah, it gave me a taste of hopefully what's to come, because it's not like I care about fame, P.
Yeah.
It's more that I want to make a mark so that other women that look like me, know there's a way.
Yes.
That's really what I want.
Yes. Nice.
Yeah.
You can be that mentor,
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Yo, did you sign autograph? Like, did someone
Yeah, I
ask for you?
did.
You did,
Yeah,
right?
I did. It was
Yo!
ridiculous.
Yes.
I was like, this is crazy. But yeah, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did. Wild.
Crazy.
Wild.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. The last thing is the balloon for the donation.
Okay.
So, last season, season 7,
Yeah.
I used 3 charities, and I'm using the same 3 for season 8. We have
Okay.
Claws, Kawartha Lakes Animal Wellness Society. We have Make-A-Wish Foundation. And we have the Fundraiser Warriors. So by my hands, left, middle, or right, which one do you want me to pop?
Let's go right.
Oh, wow. Let's see if it makes a difference. A lot of people choose middle, but it's all random.
Yeah. All right. What is
Right.
it?
Season 8, episode 2 with Crystal Ferrier. Star Scorpio will be donating to, I don't know if you can see it though, but the Fundraiser Warriors.
Warrior. Yes. I love
They
that.
do a lot of great work. All right, Crystal, before we sign off, I know you plugged yourself, but let the people know where they can find you again.
Yeah, just Instagram is the best way to contact me at Crystal the Comedian. Very easy. You can get links to my album, links to get my book. You can speak to me for now, unless you're crazy, up in my DMs. But to have a lot of, but you know what? It's all good. I love it. I love talking to people. I love people sending me messages saying like, yo, like, I didn't know who you were and like, where have you been? Like, who are you? You're amazing. I love that. It's cool. Yeah. It's all good. It's all love.
Sweet. Thank you, Crystal.
Thank you.
This is Real Talk with Star Scorpio season 8, and we out.
We out.